On the Methods of Study of the Classics of Marxism-Leninism, First Chapter, Marx and Engels. Karl Marx. Heroic Work Ethic. From an early age, Marx and Engels demonstrated an immense capacity for work and a strong thirst for knowledge. Marx's letter to his father, 1837 at 19. Marx was deeply immersed in scientific and philosophical studies. In a letter to his father, he reflected on his transitional period, being highly self-critical and methodical. Jurisprudence and philosophy. Marx's studies of law and philosophy were intertwined. He read and critiqued works like Heineken and Thibaut and even translated sections of the Pandects into German. Self-critical approach. Marx critically reviewed his own first work, recognizing its shortcomings and marking the beginning of his lifelong habit of self-reflection and revision. Note-taking habit. He developed the practice of making detailed extracts from all the books he read, writing personal comments on texts such as Lessing's Laocoon and Salger's Irwin. He also undertook independent study of languages, English and Italian, and read legal texts. Dialogue of Philosophy, 24 pages. Marx wrote a new philosophical work combining art and science and familiarized himself with natural science and history. Influence of Hegel. Initially discontent with Hegel's philosophy, Marx found himself inadvertently influenced by it, referring to his early work as being drawn into the Hegelian system. Broader reading interests. Marx was highly versatile in his intellectual pursuits, reading not only legal and philosophical works but also natural science texts, such as Reimarus's On the Artistic Instincts of Animals. Monograph writing habit. Marx didn't just read, he systematically wrote his thoughts down in the form of monographs to better understand and clarify subjects for himself. Doctoral dissertation, 1841. Marx's dissertation examined the philosophical differences between Democritus and Epicurus, revealing his early alignment with materialism and atheism. He critically rejected Hegel's interpretation of Epicurus and saw him as a liberator from religious constraints. Meticulous preparation. Marx's preparation for his dissertation was thorough. His work involved careful reconstruction of Epicurus's philosophical system based on limited fragments and a wide range of sources. Critical approach to philosophy. Marx stressed the importance of critically distinguishing between essential and non-essential aspects of a philosophical system, avoiding mere reproduction of past ideas. Rigorous note-taking. His notebooks for the dissertation were detailed, filled with summaries and exact citations, showing his early methodological precision. Legacy of scientific method. From his youth, Marx developed and perfected a systematic approach to scientific study, which he followed throughout his life. Marx's influence on the revolutionary class. Lenin emphasized that Marx's teaching resonated with millions because he built his ideas on a deep understanding of human knowledge, specifically the development of capitalism. Marx's scientific approach. Marx deeply studied capitalism, basing his arguments for the inevitability of communism on detailed and accurate analysis of capitalist society. He critically reworked prior human knowledge, leaving no detail unattended. Lifelong learning. After his formal education, Marx continued to study and apply his learning to revolutionary causes. His studies were intertwined with his political and editorial work. Early economic studies. Marx described how his early editorial work on the Rheinische Zeitung led him to study economic issues, pushing him to recognize his gaps in knowledge. This humility drove him to study political economy in depth. Warning against superficiality. Lenin highlighted the importance of not being superficial in theoretical studies, urging Komsomol members to adopt Marx's thorough approach to learning and self-criticism. Conversion to socialism. Engels noted that Marx's rigorous study of political economy, along with the French socialists and history, led him to adopt socialism. Marx's extensive knowledge. Marx had an exceptional memory and studied a vast range of subjects including economics, history, philosophy, and natural sciences. His knowledge was extensive and his work ethic formidable. Marx's methodology. He meticulously studied all relevant literature and data, including statistical materials and various economic systems, verifying everything from original sources. He also took detailed notes and systematized his findings. Focus on original sources. Marx's commitment to original research was highlighted, such as his learning of Russian to understand land relations in Russia and reading French, German, and English sources, passion for learning. Even in illness, Marx found ways to continue his studies, such as in physiology, anatomy, and higher mathematics. He viewed foreign languages as essential tools in his intellectual arsenal. Marx's dedication to language studies. Marx studied many languages throughout his life, including mastering Russian to study the country's economic development, reading Russian literature, and analyzing political movements there. Influence on revolutionary thought. Lenin concluded that Marx's extraordinary mind and comprehensive studies equipped him with the knowledge to revolutionize economic and political thought, shaping the future of socialism. Engels on Marx's dedication to science. In his 1869 biography, Engels described Marx's rigorous study and dedication over 25 years, ensuring his conclusions were sound before publishing them. Marx was meticulous, reading every relevant book and considering all objections. Lafargue's description of Marx's work habits. Paul Lafargue, in his memoirs, detailed Marx's intense work routine. Despite going to bed late, Marx rose early, worked from morning until late at night, often forgetting to eat and immersing himself in work. Marx's passion for work. Work became an obsession for Marx. He couldn't stop even during meals, quickly returning to his studies. Lafargue highlighted how Marx's dedication to completing his manuscripts was so intense that he preferred burning unfinished work rather than showing it to the public. Marx's methodical work ethic. Marx studied extensively before writing on any subject. Even a small section of Capital required reading and analyzing entire libraries of reports. He never cited facts unless he was absolutely sure of their accuracy. Marx's difficult living conditions. Financial strain heavily impacted Marx's work. Despite his family's poverty, he maintained strict academic integrity. He once had to ask Engels for money to buy a book on the history of money circulation, even though he doubted it would offer new insights. Obsession with thoroughness. Marx's theoretical conscience drove him to exhaustively study every subject he wrote about, often involving years of preparatory research, note-taking, and monograph writing. Work on Capital. Marx's preparation for Capital spanned over 15 years, involving study and critical analysis of over 1,500 books, thorough note-taking, and organizing research into drafts and indexes. He started writing drafts as early as 1857 after years of prior research, only publishing after extensive revisions. Collaboration with Engels. Since the end of 1844, Engels worked closely with Marx, assisting in the preparation of his monumental work. Their collaboration spanned both philosophical and economic research. Comprehensive studies. During his preparation for Capital, Marx studied various subjects, including economics, the French Revolution, and philosophy. His collaborative works with Engels during this period included The Holy Family and the German Ideology. Significant publications of the time. In addition to his preparatory work on Capital, Marx wrote The Poverty of Philosophy in 1847, attacking Proudhon's economic views. In the same year, he lectured on wage labor and co-authored the Communist Manifesto with Engels. Lenin's praise for the Communist Manifesto. Lenin hailed the Communist Manifesto as a clear and vivid articulation of a new materialist worldview, embracing dialectics, class struggle, and the revolutionary role of the proletariat. Marx's simultaneous journalism. Alongside his academic work, Marx wrote articles for newspapers and journals, contributing to political discourse while preparing for Capital. Combination of theory and practice. Marx's colossal theoretical work, especially in scientific and philosophical realms, was inseparably tied to vigorous revolutionary activity. According to Engels and Lafargue, Marx believed that scientists should not remain isolated from social and political life, and should use their knowledge in service of humanity. Engagement with public life. Marx's belief, as recalled by Paul Lafargue, was that science is not for personal gratification but should serve humanity. Scientists, in his view, must participate actively in public life and political struggles, contributing their knowledge to social progress. Devotion of Lenin and Stalin. Following Marx's path, Lenin and Stalin also embodied the idea that revolutionary leaders should not limit themselves to their specialized fields, but be actively involved in political leadership, fully aware of social development. Marx as a revolutionary. Marx was not just a theorist. He was primarily a revolutionary who applied his knowledge as a weapon for the working class. His theoretical advancements were aimed at supporting the proletariat's struggle for liberation and communism. Science as a driving force. For Marx, science was a revolutionary force. While theoretical discoveries delighted him, he found greater satisfaction when they had a direct impact on societal development and industry. Famous thesis on theory. In a contribution to the critique of Hegel's philosophy of right, 1843, Marx argued that theory becomes a material force when it grips the masses. He emphasized the need for a revolutionary scientific approach when addressing the workers, criticizing utopian and simplistic views of social change. Marx's conference in 1846. In a key event in 1846, Marx and Engels emphasized to fellow revolutionaries that the workers' movement must be united with science and revolutionary theory to succeed. Marx sharply criticized those who lacked scientific grounding, dismissing their efforts as ineffective. Propagandist and educator. Marx was a brilliant propagandist who always strived to deliver his revolutionary theory to the masses. His speeches were clear, engaging, and rooted in the latest developments in social science, ensuring his ideas were accessible yet sophisticated. Meticulous scholar. After being interrupted by revolutionary activity in 1848 to 1849, Marx resumed his economic studies in 1850. He meticulously reviewed and expanded his previous research, working long hours in the British Museum, studying political economy, and refining his revolutionary theories on money, credit, and finance. Dedication to knowledge. Marx's devotion to knowledge and scientific rigor was extraordinary. He criticized simpletons who preferred easy answers to complex social questions, stressing the importance of deep study and critical analysis. Marx exhibited a deep sense of responsibility toward work and demanded the same of others. He was critical of those who approached scientific work with ease or superficiality. In his letters to Engels, Marx criticized Lassalle, who claimed to have conceived a great political economic work and planned to complete it in 2 years, mocking his oversimplified approach to complex economic studies. Marx believed that scientific work required thorough mastery of all relevant material before any conclusions could be made. He stressed the importance of long and detailed research before publishing. Marx's work on Capital took 15 years of studying economic literature and creating extensive notes before he felt ready to publish even part of it. After 24 years of study and preparation, Marx finally published the first volume of Capital, only after having written rough drafts of all 3 volumes. Engels also critiqued the approach of rushing to conclusions without sufficient research, specifically calling out Kautsky for hasty conclusions and lack of understanding of scientific work. Marx's iron will kept him working despite poor health and financial hardships. He worked day jobs to earn money and used the nights to work on his scientific projects, often facing recurring health issues like liver disease. The slow progress of Marx's economic work was due to the complexity of his research, as new aspects of the subjects constantly arose, requiring further reflection. Even when pressed by Engels to finish Capital, Marx refused to publish prematurely, insisting that his works needed to be complete and coherent before being printed. Marx's method was marked by painstaking attention to detail and perfection in both content and form, continuously reworking his manuscripts to ensure clarity, accuracy, and simplicity. Despite physical exhaustion and illness, Marx constantly revisited old works, like Hegel's Logic, to draw new insights, emphasizing the importance of repeated study. Marx's rigorous approach extended to his study of history. His chronological extracts were a massive compilation of historical facts, focusing on the social and economic developments that shaped history. Marx studied world history meticulously, verifying facts, comparing sources, and summarizing complex materials in a concise and concrete way. He sought not only to record events but also to analyze and explain the socio-economic transformations behind them. His historical research, based on works like Schlosser's World History, was accompanied by his own corrections and Marxist interpretations, shedding light on the class struggles and socio-economic shifts. Marx's notes, while factual and precise, often carried profound analytical insights. For example, his analysis of the struggle between the monarchy and Venice highlighted the class dynamics behind historical events, illustrating his dialectical approach to understanding history. In summary, Marx's work was a testament to relentless labor, methodological thoroughness, and an uncompromising pursuit of accuracy, both in scientific and historical research. His dedication to mastery of material and his drive for revolutionary change guided his lifelong work.